Sintay.
Talk about being courageous, and as some of you, I've shared my story at Focus. Probably some of the market directors and RSCs in the room have heard a quick little story. So before I can get into why I'm courageous and maybe why others are not, have to give you a little background about myself, and so I'll start with that first. For me, as a child growing up, I had a very challenging growing up as a kid, and I was raised by a single mom, my sister and I, and we would watch her work 3 jobs that were very low-income jobs. One was going in and cleaning houses that were already new construction, and we would go in with her and clean, and we thought it was the coolest thing. And the next thing she would work was gas station pump. You guys remember back in the day, there were attendants. If you had a full service, someone would come up to your gas tank and pump your gas. Do you guys remember that? Anybody? I'm not that old, right? Okay. So she would do that, and she would get tips, and then sometimes she'd get an extra tip, and my sister and I were super excited. We'd get a 50 cents, go to the Coke machine and get a Mellow Yellow, and that's when they had Mellow Yellow still then too. And then the other job she did was at night. She worked at a fish market, and so at night, she wasn't home with us, so I was responsible, I was in charge, and I thought I was big hot stuff because I was 9 years old, in charge of my sister and whatever else in the apartment. So we watched her work those 3 jobs, and many times that didn't make ends meet. And so many times that income that came in did not really cover our bare essentials, and at some point that also meant that we didn't have a home. And so as a young girl, I remember living in a car with my mom and my sister, and you would think that would be some hard times, but yet my mom made those times actually probably some of the best times in my entire life. My sister and I would sing in the car with my mom, and we had just the best times, and we never felt bad. My mom always said, listen, things will get better, and we always looked at the brighter side, and we always stayed positive. In fact, we would go to school and tell our friends that we lived in a car. We had talked our friends into wanting to live in a car with us, so that was pretty cool. Should have known I'd be in sales. I could talk about anything, right? So, again, hardship, one after another. My mom, again, always so positive, and no matter what we were going through, she always said, Christy is what she called me, Christy and Cassie, my sister Cassie. Christy and Cassie, you guys always have choices. No matter what obstacles, no matter what challenges in life is bringing us, we always have choices in deciding how we're going to react, what our attitude's going to be, and what our actions are. So, so that's a little bit as when I was younger. And things, again, we continued to have those hardships, but we always looked on the brighter side and always stayed positive. Later, in my teenage years, my mom started to develop really a lot of depression and just not well. And unfortunately, when I was 17, my mom passed away, and that was probably the hardest challenge in my life. For me, just turning 17, coming home, and then finding my mom who had shot herself, and it was a suicidal death. So that being said, I'll pause for a moment. Again, I have to make a choice, right? I can either choose to be the victim of the circumstances, or I can choose to be the victor. And even though I was very upset with my mother, I felt abandoned. I can think of all kinds of words that I felt. Again, there was a lot of things that she had taught me, and that was, I had the choice to move forward and to be strong. And many times, when you choose strong, and it's the only choice you have, you never realize how strong you are until that's the only choice you do have. And so I would say that that was probably the hardest moment in my life as a young adult, trying to cope with my mom's suicide. And then I was responsible for my siblings. So now I was the mom. And so at 17, I found myself living on the street, living from home to home, and really being on my own, trying to put myself through high school and night school, and to graduate high school. And I mention all these things because there were times that I could have made excuses. You know, when I think about some of the events that happen, many times there are folks out there that make an excuse. We feel like we're entitled to be that victim, right? We're entitled to feel that way. It wasn't fair. Have any of you ever had something in your life, whether it's a tragedy, a loss, a disappointment, maybe you didn't get that promotion you wanted, maybe a divorce, something negative or some type of roadblock or obstacle in your life? Has anybody had one of those? All right, I would think everybody should raise their hand, right? Okay. I call those, when those things happen, again, there's a way that we can choose to react to that. And I call those potatoes. Now you're going to look at me and go, okay, what potatoes? What kind of wacky blonde are you? I call them potatoes for a reason. Has anybody ever had a potato in their pantry that's kind of lost its way and you kind of forgot it was in there, and you walk into your pantry and you think, what stinks in this pantry, right? And you look around and all of a sudden you finally find that little potato that's been in there about 6 months and it's disgusting, right? Anybody ever found one of those? Okay, all right, so I'm not the only one. All right. So to kind of explain what I mean is, I'm going to probably grab 2 pirates in here. Where's Jake Swenson, my market trainer? Right here, my partner in crime. I'm going to have him fun up. And then I'm going to choose one other pirate on my team, David Herrera. Come on up for a second. And David, you can sit in this seat. So when I think about all the things that have happened in my life, in that short, let's up to my teen years, I think about different words that could have come to mind that I could have chose to react. So, for example, when my mom passed away, it could have been maybe the word I think of as abandonment, right? Hurt, fear. There you go. When I talk about all the different negatives that happen in folks' lives, and everybody has something. Mine's not any worse than yours, and we all have just events that have happened that we didn't plan on to happen. When you think about that, if you guys would pause for a second, think about a moment in your life that was a really hard time. Maybe a major disappointment, maybe it was a loss, maybe it was just something negative, maybe it was that obstacle. Can anybody give me a word of how you felt? What is it? Defeated. Can you write defeated on that? Give me another word. Alone. I like that one too. Give it to, you're going to hold them. Betrayed. You need to write a little faster there. Okay. Okay. Who else? What? Helpless. Pissed off. Pissed off. Is that someone says pissed off? Pissed off. Okay. Actually, that's a really good one too. I think I felt that way as well. Pissed off. Okay. Cheated. Give me another one.
Devastated.
Devastated. You're going to hold those. A couple more. Scared. Scared. So fear. Someone said, what else? Broken. I can identify that too. All right, give me 2 more. Sabotage. We already have
Need words that he can spell.
Failure. Okay. Paralyzed. Okay. I will stop there. So when I think about the events, just those few events up from small childhood to 17, finding my mom with the suicidal death, a lot of the words that you guys shared are probably all the words that I probably felt. And one of the things I think that makes me courageous, and one of the things that makes me different, is that I decided not to let, let's say, that potato of, I can't even read Jake's writing. Shitty is what he wrote. Actually, I did feel pretty shitty. So Here's the deal, and if I had let this one little shitty potato, right, in my life, it then suddenly has a foothold within my life, right? And then once I have one of these, it's really easy to pick up a couple more, right? Fear, paralyzed, defeated, sabotage. So I start to collect these, and let's say David is me, and he's collecting all these things, because once you collect one and you hold on to it, it's easy to start getting the rest of them. Here's the problem. The only person that David's hurting is himself, right? Because I talked about that potato that's sitting in the pantry, and as longer you hold on to it, if you see a potato, it starts to grow those little weird nodules and stuff, and looks disgusting, right? And then it gets mushy, and then it starts to kind of liquefy, and it's really stinky. The problem with David over here is he's collected so many potatoes, and he continues to keep holding on to them. And all of a sudden we're walking around, and someone's like, what stinks? It's David, right? Okay. David stinks, okay? Because he's been holding on, because he thinks he has the right to. But guys, he doesn't. That bag of potatoes is just an anchor. It's weighing him down. And once, again, like I said, that one potato, it started the foothold. But as he collected all those other potatoes, it ended up being a stronghold within his life. Not just his personal, but his professional. And it doesn't allow him to move forward because it anchors him down. So for me, I decided not to choose those words. Instead, I chose, going through those processes and different events in my life, I chose joy. I chose love. I chose to be fearless, relentless. I chose to be courageous. I chose to be strong even though I didn't feel like I could be strong. So what I would say to you is that everybody's got something in here, but many times we choose the wrong way to go. We choose the potato instead of making the choice that allows us to have the freedom to move forward, right? And the freedom to move forward, and we talk about being a lighthouse. I love that Adam has been talking about being a lighthouse, because this fits so perfectly for me and what's happened in my life. I have dropped the stinky potatoes a long time ago, and it allowed me to have the freedom to move forward, to move out of the safety of the harbor, and then to be that lighthouse that Adam keeps talking about. And and that's not just in my professional life, but in my personal life. Because as you guys know, if you're carrying this baggage and this is anchoring you down, it affects your whole life. Every relationship, your spouse, your friend, the team that you're leading, you as a leader, all of those things. So, I'll let you guys go down. Thank you. Thank you for your stinky potatoes. Good, Dave. Oops. Oh, there's my apple. I'll tell you about the apple later. So, just up here. So I share that because, again, we all have stuff. And it's what we do with that stuff. And do we allow it to affect our lives, or do we allow it to make us better people, and to choose for it to use that to be a lighthouse? One of the next events I'd like to share with you guys is probably my newest event, and I thought that my mom's death was going to be the hardest. But this year, 2017, I had a lot of fun, different transitions. Exciting transition was I was promoted. Can you hear me? Oops. Promoted to market director and taking over the great state of Utah and Las Vegas, Nevada South. And I was super excited. Packed my family up from the East Coast, first time on the West Coast. Happy to be a pirate, by the way. And got here and just jumping in things and really excited about getting things going. And within 6 weeks of being in the markets, unfortunately, I had found a lump on my left breast. And I called all around trying to get to doctor's offices and for somebody to check me out, because it was a new area and didn't have a doctor. And every time I called someone, they would say, well, sorry, we can't get you until April or May. Well, this was the beginning of February. And I thought, man, if this is something, I don't need to wait till May. So I finally told my husband, I said, listen, I'm just going to go to a walk-in clinic, and if I can just get a doctor to look at this and send me to get a mammogram just to make sure there's nothing and we're all good. So went to a walk-in clinic, an urgent care clinic, and saw a nurse practitioner, and she looked at it and said, yeah, you need to get this checked right away. She said, in fact, I'm going to make it stat so that we get those results back within 24 hours. So I went, did a mammogram, and then 24 hours later, got the results. I was in an Uber in Utah driving to my market office, and I get a call from the nurse practitioner saying, hey, Christine, we've got your results back, and we see that it's highly malignant. We need you to go to a cancer center to get checked out. Now, I'm in an Uber, guys, and the Uber guy's listening to my conversation, and he finally said, are you okay? And I said, yes, and he drops me out, and I go into my market office and walk into my staff, which is Jake and Renee and Karen, and finally just said, hey, I've got something to share with you guys. I'm not sure if this is something bad or maybe I'm out of the woods. I don't know yet. And so I shared with them saying, hey, I just got some results that I may have breast cancer. And but I want to let you guys know, and this is the things that I told them. And again, these are choices. I said, if it is, one, I'm going to kick cancer's ass. Okay? Right? Two, I said, it's not going to rob me of my time. It will not rob me of my family. It will not rob me of my friendships. It damn well will not rob me of my fearless leadership that I already know that I wanted to do in this market. I said I would not allow cancer to rob me in anything that I've worked so hard for. And last but not least, I also said that if it is cancer and it's come to harm me, what has come to harm me I'm going to use for good. And I'm going to be a lighthouse to others. And I'm going to use this to inspire others. So I left that day, went back to Las Vegas, ended up getting a ultrasound and a biopsy. And again, they said, well, we'll give you the results in 2 days. And so on February 27th, I get a call from the oncologist and says, hey, you have cancer. And so on that call, I just kept thinking, this can't be. You know, I've been with Aflac for 10 years, and I've sold cancer policies, and I know the statistics, 1 out of 3 women, 1 out of 2 men, and I've been saying it for 10 years, and then all of a sudden it's you. I hear the doctor talking, and really honestly, the only thing I heard was you have cancer in your breast, and you have cancer in your lymph nodes, and we need to start treatment right away. So hung up the phone, hugged my husband, cried, and then made the decision, a choice, right then and there, that I again was going to use this for good. That I wasn't going to be mad or be in self-pity or wish that I was someone else or play the blame game and why me and all those things. Instead, I chose, and their choices, right then and there in that moment, I chose that I was going to again, and again I said to my husband, I'm going to kick cancer's ass. It picked the wrong chick. It is not going to rob me. And I am not going to carry stinky potatoes, right, that's going to weigh me down. Instead, I'm going to take this, and again, what it was used to be for harm, I'm going to take it to be a lighthouse, not just within my home, with my friends, as a leader with my market, but within the entire territory. I get to be the pirate, lighthouse. I mean, how cool is that? I even got the haircut to prove for it now. So I say that because, you have to choose. You have to choose to be courageous. You have to choose to be strong. I have to choose to be positive every morning. It is easy to be able to say, hey, I deserve to feel like a victim, but I choose not to. I always choose to be the victor, and I learned that early from my mom. And I wanted to share with you guys that wherever you are in your life and what obstacle and trial or tribulation or whatever it is, I hope that you will, and I won't even say hope, I will challenge you to drop the potatoes. Do not let them have a stronghold in your life. Allow that to let you move forward. Take that freedom. Leave the safety of the harbors and be the lighthouse that you were meant to be. And not just in this room and with your teams, but in every aspect of your life. So I want to end with saying this. One of the funny choices I get to make, or I got to make during this little cancer run right now, I'm in my I just had my third round of treatment, so if I'm a little puny later, I just had that a few days ago, so we'll work through it. But one of the fun things and choices, we were at our first oncologist appointment, and he's telling us all the things of what chemo's going to do and all that kind of stuff, and my husband and I are shaking our head, and he leaves, and the nurse comes in, and the nurse says, well, did he tell you about the, the intimate stuff? No, never mentioned anything about that. What are you talking about? She says, well, do you have small children or dogs? And we said, well, we have big dogs, and we have 2 children, but they're one in college and one in high school. She said, okay. She said, well, I want to let you know that when you have your chemo treatments, the chemo does and will come out of your urine and also your sexual fluids. Okay. So what does that mean? And she said, well, make sure you keep the toilet down so the dogs don't drink out of the toilet, which dogs tend to do, and I get that, okay. She said, if they do, they're going to get chemo. Okay? And my husband's like, well, that's great, because I want to get rid of the 3 dogs anyway, so. So I no longer can use the bathroom downstairs. I have to use the toilet upstairs. Okay, now, the good part. She says, well, let's talk about the intimacy part, okay? She said, so you, it does come out of your sexual fluids, and so you're going to have to use protection. Jeff goes, what? What's that? So we're looking at each other, and we're like kind of giggling like we're in high school. And she says, you're going to need to use a condom. And he goes, what is that? And, so no, I'll have to remind you guys, we've been married for 21 years and together for almost 24. And we're both looking at each other going, I don't even know if we even know how to use this. Like, this is hysterical. So we go, okay, that's fine. So we leave the doctor's office, and we decide to go straight to the pharmacist so that we can find these condoms that we have not ever used before. Well, we get to the drugstore, and maybe you guys know where to find them. We don't, okay? And as a typical, and don't take this the wrong way, as a typical guy, I say to him, why don't you go ask somebody? Oh, no, we'll find it. Okay, so meanwhile, I'm dropping my prescriptions off. The doctor says you may be constipated, you might have diarrhea, you have this. So I have all these different kinds of weird medicines, and then I'm walking up to the pharmacist saying, hey, where are your condoms? with the diarrhea and the constipation medicine in my hand. So I finally find Jeff and say, okay, it's on aisle, whatever it is. We walk in the aisle. It's a whole aisle of condoms. It's like going into a candy store. Has anybody used a condom before? Okay, just asking. All right, so we look, and it literally is a full aisle of condoms. We have no idea what to pick. So he's looking at us, Magnums. That's right. And I'm like, no. I'm like, wait, let's pick the right brand first. I always hear Trojan, so maybe we should do Trojan, right? So we're looking, he's like, these are fluorescent, these are flavored, these are this. And I'm like, why are there so many choices? So I finally said to him, I go, let's call my brother. My brother said, he's single, he'll know. He goes, we're not calling that idiot. All right, fine. So then I said, let's call Taylor. Now, Taylor's my oldest daughter who's in college. And he's like, well, why would we call her Taylor? I said, not that she's active, but she's in college and they know stuff, right? He finally just picks this one box. It has like 8 in them. I think it says the Magnum whatever. And I'm like, it's only 8. I'm like, I have 6 chemo treatments. This is not going to last long. He goes, well, when you pick it. I'm thinking to myself, great. Another opportunity that I get to make a choice, right? I can do an excuse or a choice. So I looked and said, there's a box, 36 of them, and it says party pack. It's a variety. Why not, right? walked out with. I carried the bag, right? So I now have a variety of 36. There's no longer 36 left, by the way. And I say that because, listen, in all the different things that happen in life, and no matter, you know, what choice you make, you know, sometimes God does throw a little fun laughs in there, and that was one of those things for us. And again, I still had to make a choice. I could let him take the little 9 Magnum ones, but I chose the party pack, 36. But I want to end with this and say, I challenge you today, know that every day is a gift. And what you choose and the attitude that you choose and the reactions and your actions, that is what makes you be able to move forward, to have the freedom, to be that entrepreneur we talk about, to be that leader, to be that spouse, that mom, that dad, that friend, and to leave, again, like Adam says, leave the safe harbor, to be that lighthouse for everyone that we touch. So today I want to tell you thank you for letting me be courageous. I am going to continue to be a lighthouse. This is temporary, is what I tell myself. And I will continue to go through this as a positive. The last thing I would share with you, I'm sure you're wondering what this apple was. Before coming here, I talked to my doctor and said, you know, I'm really concerned. I just had my chemo treatment last week, and this is about the time I don't feel well. And I said, do you have something to make me feel good and give me some energy? And he said, sure, yeah, I'll give this, I have a pill. And he goes, well, how's your appetite? I said, not good. I'm just doing protein shakes and lost a few pounds. That's not so bad. And he said, well, did we not give you the marijuana pill yet? I'm like, no. No, you did not. He's like, well, and he goes, he called it something else. And so I had this little energy pill that starts with an M, and then this marijuana pill with an M. And he said, I'll give you 2, and you can have them and use that for your when you go to speak. And I'm like, this is awesome. They're going to love me, right? I'm going to be lots of energy and hungry, maybe, right? So I had them this morning, and then I couldn't remember which is which. So I just picked one, and so for you guys, which is really fun, I'm not sure if I actually took the marijuana pill today or if I took the energy pill. So the apple was just in case I got the munchies that I took the marijuana pill. I had it, all right? Other than that, thank you guys for letting me be crazy.
We want to take a picture. Hopefully you will adorn this pirate hat. And we've all got ours. And it is nice to have a real pirate amongst us. And you've been such an awesome addition. And we just love you to death. And I know everybody in this room is waiting for a great big shout. Plus cancer.
Hey guys, hey, really quick, while Christine, go ahead and take a seat. While Christine is getting her condolences or congratulations from her MKDs. My name's Jake Swenson. I have the great privilege of being her market trainer. And I just wanted to, Adam gave me the opportunity to share really quick, stay up here, Christine, to give me the opportunity to share really quick the story that's kind of been the pinnacle experience of my career so far with her. I came in February in my very first sales school that I was teaching. I was teaching the class of 15 agents about the state website. And so I had my computer up on the screen and was connected to the internet so I could show them everything that the statewide website has to offer, all the great gold nuggets there. And I kept getting these annoying little email pop-ups. And it was just one after another, after another, after another, and there were like 10 in a row. And I realized after a minute that they were all coming from Christine. And I was like, hold on, guys. So I bumped over to my email, and I said, Christine and I have a really fast friendship.
Yes.
And so I responded back to the last one, and I just said, hey, all due respect, stop working, dummy. Because I realized right then that she was in her very first round of chemo. And she was still working, and she was still grinding. And the response couldn't have come better because my email was still up on the screen in big, bold letters. She responded back in real time and said, as long as I feel good, nothing's going to stop me. Hashtag winners win. Hashtag no excuses. This is my market director.
Ours is not bad. I would tell you, it's funny. We wanted to have Christine talk, and her big thing to me was, I don't want this to be about cancer. I want this to be about, persevering. And she said, I want you to know this isn't going to stop me from doing my job. And I thought it was important for you to hear from her, because there's nothing that should stop you guys from being the leaders that you're capable of being either. And face the adversity, face the challenges, and do it with a brave face like that, and you will be a winner, and you will be a lighthouse. So thank you again, Christine, for being with us. So I have the distinct pleasure now to